Hi guys and gals, welcome to Canadian Immigration Channel. Question of the day: what would happen with your immigration application if your IELTS expires in the process? So in this video we will look at different opportunities, how they affect your immigration application, which stage exactly you're at when your IELTS expires, whether you're immigrating through provincial nomination, through one of the federal streams, right, or you have just submitted your expression of interest, right? What will happen if your IELTS expires after invitation to apply? Meanwhile, if you want us to assess your chances for successful immigration to Canada, click on the link cactv.ca/go. One of our specialists will contact you and we will look into your chances of successful immigration to Canada. When it comes down to your IELTS test results, they are valid for 2 years. That is widely known for many applicants, so no surprises here. So what will happen if your IELTS expires while you're in process? Now let's look at the first opportunity or first picture. It's when, say, you do not have your immigration application in a way where your files are processed. So you have your expression of interest, you have your profile in Express Entry, you have your profile for provincial authorities. Now, if your IELTS expires, unfortunately, your case will not be processed further. In other words, you might have submitted your application or your other expression of interest for Saskatchewan, right? Selection score might be, a selection threshold might be 88 points, right? Or sorry, 68 points, right? Not to scare everybody. And you have 69, right? So you stand a very strong chance to be selected tomorrow, but your IELTS expires today. Well, unfortunately, it's not gonna fly. It's not gonna be forgiven unless you provide equal or better IELTS test results, right, when you potentially receive invitation to apply from Saskatchewan. Well, chances are your profile in Saskatchewan or IELTS would be deactivated way before you receive invitation to apply, simply because the system automatically knows that your IELTS has expired. Now, another story is, say you got your application in process, but you're processed by provincial authorities. So as an example here, take Manitoba, right? You were invited to apply to Manitoba because you got relatives or friends in Manitoba, right? Everything goes fine. You have submitted your documents while Manitoba was processing your application. Your IELTS test has expired. Now, it's much easier to deal with provincial authorities when it comes down to such matters because they are listening in most of the cases, and it's way easier to convince them to give you a chance to retake the exam and give you extra time if we are all in COVID, right? So with the example of Manitoba, it was quite possible to persuade officers to give more than 90 days to a gentleman whose IELTS has expired, and that's a real life case, right? Simply because everybody understands it's COVID, it's not always possible to go and retake your exam in the nearest testing center, so time was granted, but you also have to provide substantial evidence of the fact that you are doing everything humanly possible. You register for exam, you got a receipt, and so on. You still have to give them your IELTS test results, right? Don't be mistaken, you have to retake your exam, right? But it's still possible to talk to officers. Now, here's another story. Your IELTS has expired after provincial nomination, but before invitation to apply. Now, that's an interesting story depending on the province you're applying with, because if you got invitation from a province and you're going through Express Entry pathway, if you will, right? So your Express Entry profile has been deactivated, right? You gotta retake your test, right? You gotta create the new Express Entry profile and ask the province to actually attach your previous invitation to your Express Entry profile. And that works with everybody except for Alberta. I have zero clue why Alberta is behaving this way, but if your Express Entry expires, it got canceled for whatever reason, Alberta will not be reissuing you an invitation, so they will not be able to reattach it to your new Express Entry profile, despite the fact that your new IELTS test results might even be better than the previous ones. So be very careful and vigilant with Alberta. Now, when it comes down to this story, so say everything goes fine and smoothly, we're not talking about Alberta, your application was resubmitted and you were successfully receiving invitation to apply. Now, what will happen if your IELTS expires next day, for example, after you receive an invitation to apply? Well, unfortunately, it's not gonna fly either, right? There is such a thing as a lock-in date, and lock-in date is not your invitation to apply. So if your IELTS expires tomorrow, you haven't submitted your immigration application yet, well, unfortunately, you will have to retake your IELTS, and you will have to, ideally, if you do it within 60 days granted to you to submit your documents, everything is gonna get smoothly, right? And essentially, you will be able to proceed with your application. But lock-in date for your IELTS is the date when you submitted your documents, right, and received the acknowledgement that these documents were accepted for processing. That typically happens within a matter of seconds, minutes, 24 hours, if you will, but typically that's the date when your IELTS is locked up. In other words, so say your IELTS expires in 2 weeks, you managed to gather all the supporting documents in 10 days, submitted your application for immigration, received acknowledgement that, yep, everything is received, we are processing your application now. So the fact that your IELTS expires within the next few days has absolutely no negative effect on your case, except for the fact that if your file gets refused for whatever reason, you will still have to retake your IELTS. You cannot return the case for processing with the expired IELTS. Even if officers are wrong in this case, even if officers erred in law, right, and you manage to convince them that, right, you will not be able to receive the case for reprocessing with the expired IELTS. So you will have to take the new IELTS test. I hope it explains a little bit on how different situation works and what to do with them, what to be prepared for, and how to back yourself up. I guess it, should create a sense of urgency with respect to taking your exam. And by the way, if you're looking to understand more how immigration programs work, what they do, what not to do, and how to apply successfully for your immigration by yourself, you're mostly welcome to participate in our master classes on immigration to Canada. They are absolutely free of charge and conducted for everyone. Click on the link and we'll see you there. Stay tuned and subscribe to the channel.